Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we're going to be talking about Kirk Cousins sadly going down with what they fear is a torn Achilles injury, and what this means for not only the Vikings, but Kirk Cousins and his future, and it's the league in general. If you guys do enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to notify when I post next. Let's get into it, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. Kirk Cousins tears, they think he tore his Achilles. So if it's just like a sprain or something, well, obviously this video will be void and moot. But they fear that he completely tore his Achilles, meaning he's out for the rest of the season. That sucks. They were saying they were never going to trade him, but the opportunity, if like the Jets offer them a first-round pick, you're not saying no to a first-round pick for Kirk Cousins. Obviously, he did have a trade. He had a no-trade clause, but if the Vikings were not going to win the rest of this year, maybe he would have taken that trade. But now the option's completely off the table. Plus, this pretty much guarantees he's not being re-signed by the Vikings next year. Why would you sign a 37, 35, 36, 37-year-old quarterback who is not part of the timeline for the rest of their team? It was already on the very, very edge of a risk of maybe re-signing. There's a possibility you'd re-sign him, but very slim. That is now zero. They're not going to be signing a Kirk Cousins coming off a torn Achilles as well as a fully guaranteed contract. Not going to happen. And what this means to Justin Jefferson. I mean, is Jay Jettis going to come back and be thrown to by Jaren Hall or Jameis Winston or Ryan Tannehill or any of these quarterbacks that you want to say are going to get traded? Jacoby Brissett, PJ Walker. Is he going to be wanting to be thrown to by one of these guys? I'm also going to say no. I don't think he's going to want to. I think it's a very high possibility that Justin Jefferson asked for a trade now. I didn't think it was possible before. I thought he would at least, play the rest of the season with Kirk Cousins. After the draft, see what the Vikings do at quarterback. If they draft a rookie, a high-end rookie, if they sign some kind of big veteran quarterback, he was going to wait and see. I truly believe he was going to wait and see. But now, Kirk Cousins ain't coming back. You're probably going to have a high draft pick, go through the rookie, the rookie rumble, the rookie struggles. Do you want to do that as Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the league, when healthy? He was on pace to break the receiving yards record, and then gets, obviously gets injured on IR for 4 weeks. I think there's a possibility that Justin Jefferson gets traded. I think there's a possibility that he gets traded. Now, is it this season? Is it in the off season? Well, we don't know. In the off season, I do believe he's on his 5th-year contract next year. I think he's on the 4th year of his contract right now. Let me see, Justin Jefferson. I don't think he is contract. I don't think he's a free agent after this year. Yeah, okay. As of right now, Jefferson's set to make a base salary of $19.7 in 2024. So he's on the books for 1 more year on his 5th-year deal. If you're the Vikings, if he doesn't want to sign with you, get whatever you can for him, Have a team trade a first, maybe 2 firsts for him. Have them sign him to a massive record-breaking extension. Get 2 first-round picks and start this rebuild. It sucks to say that. Obviously, that you bring in Kevin O'Connell to compete right now. You bring in Brian Flores to compete right now. You bring in Kwesi Odafe Owe or Odafe Brown. I think. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. It's Kwesi Odafe Menza. Sorry, Odafe Menza. You bring him in to manage this team to try and win right now, and it just kind of all went to crap in 1 season. A lot of defensive pieces got cut and traded. Offensively, you still had Jay Jettas. You probably weren't gonna sign Kirk Cousins. So now instead of maybe merging the rebuild and the still competing together, it's now a complete rebuild. And if I'm the Vikings, I want Justin Jefferson on my team. But if I'm Justin Jefferson, I don't want to play for the Vikings. There's no chance of a Super Bowl for at least 4 years. They're probably gonna trade Danielle Hunter. They're probably gonna trade Harrison Smith. They're gonna empty out whatever they need to get as much draft capital as possible for the future. Any offensive linemen I think are for trade now. Honestly, you had TJ Hawkinson on the books for another 4 or 5 years. Do you want to pay Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson record-breaking contracts for their position? You got rid of Dalvin Cook to save money. What are you going to do? It's going to be a very interesting rest of the season and offseason for the Vikings. Do they decide to trade Justin Jefferson, or they eat the bullet, they pay him whatever money he wants? And does Jefferson even want to be back with the team next year? That's another real possibility. Now, what are some teams that Justin Jefferson can go to if he does request a trade and they trade him in the season? A couple of teams that I think could think they're a wide receiver away. Obviously, you got to bring up the Kansas City Chiefs. but I don't think the Vikings would do that out of pure like we cannot let them get Justin Jefferson. You know, what I mean, I don't think they would do that. I'm trying to think of another team. NFC South. Don't think any of the NFC South teams. I mean, the Panthers. Maybe the Panthers just say, you know what? Let's sign what's his name? Let's sign Brian Burns to a massive extension, make him highest paid. Then we'll bring in Justin Jefferson, 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and a massive 5-year extension. You know, Bryce Young, you got your wide receiver 1. We pay Brian Burns, or we let Brian Burns go. We trade him or something. You know, that situation gets resolved. But we have Justin Jefferson as the wide receiver 1 for our franchise for the next 4 or 5 years. So Bryce Young can develop, have an elite top 5 wide receiver at the position on his team to help him develop. That's a team I think makes a lot of sense. NFC North, don't think they're going to NFC North. NFC East, don't think any NFC East team will get him. NFC West, I think what they want to do, they want to get him out of the conference. I think AFC is the division, is the conference you want to look at. AFC South, I mean, the Colts maybe, but the Colts are really trying to, rebuild through the draft. The Texans wouldn't do it. Jaguars wouldn't do it. Titans wouldn't do it. AFC West, no one would do it. AFC East, AFC North. Like, the only team I think could genuinely make a fair offer to the Vikings and for Justin Jefferson as well is the Carolina Panthers. I mean, let's go to Carolina Panthers over the cap. I want to see their over the cap for the next couple of years. See what type of cap space they're working with. So for next year, they have $57 million in cap space, then $150, $280, and then basically, whatever you want, a bajillion. No one's signed through 2027 right now. But for the next 2 years at minimum, you have $60 million, $150 million. You're setting yourself up very nice where you could trade for Justin Jefferson, kickstart this rebuild. You have Frank Reich, you have Edgar Rivera at coaching, you have Bryce Young as your quarterback for the future. Don't trade any players. Or you need to trade Brian Burns, use him as a first-round pick in S. Say Brian Burns, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and 2 third-round picks for Justin Jefferson. We'll pay him the massive contract. Bryce Young then has a franchise wide receiver to throw to, and that's the pairing moving forward. You pair him back up with Adam Thielen as well, which is very funny. Very funny. You pair him back up with Adam Thielen. I think that's a possibility. If I'm an NFL team, I think the only team that can actually make a fair offer for Justin Jefferson is the Carolina Panthers. They have the need, they have the wants, they have the money, they have the draft capital, and they have the expendable players that they don't really want to assign themselves to massive extensions to trade. You could trade Brian Burns, a first-round pick, multiple mid-day picks, maybe even 2 first-round picks in Brian Burns. But do something like that. Make sure you are helping your young quarterback develop, and Justin Jefferson gets out of his situation. For the Vikings, you get 2 first-round picks, maybe a first-round pick, and a franchise edge rusher for Brian Flores if you want to keep him as defensive coordinator. You trade away one of the best wide receivers in the league, but Jordan Addison is showing he's very capable as a wide receiver 1. You still have KJ Osborne. You still have some pieces. You have TJ Hawkinson. Continue to build this offensive line. Draft a young quarterback to develop. I think it's a win-win for both sides. That's a trade that I think makes the most sense is Justin Jefferson for Brian Burns, a first-round pick, and 3 midday picks, maybe a pick swap in the 5th round for a 4th round, something like that. But yeah, that's my take. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell when I post next. It's a sucky situation for everyone to be around it. I hope Kirk can come back healthy next year. Obviously, I was hoping that he would get traded to the Jets. I think if the Jets could get, a Kirk Cousins type of quarterback, the bridge, from Aaron Rodgers' injury to Aaron Rodgers healthy would be the best. Because, they did win today against the, was it the Giants? They beat the Giants today. But, they're not the same quality as team as we were hoping for. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.